And good morning. You're watching Breakfast Television on City TV. Lots of people hiking in the mountains right now. Yeah, enjoying the scenery just like this, looking for that Instagram moment. But are you taking photos in a respectful, ethical way? Are you going over the line and not even aware of it? That's where Carrie Martin comes in. Carrie is a wildlife photographer who is also doing her master's on ethical wildlife photography. And Carrie, thank you for coming in. I know you and I have been chatting offline and kind of via email about this conversation, but just to break it down for somebody at home, to take wildlife photographs in an ethical way, what's the main thing you have to keep in mind?
Well, I think kind of the basis of ethical wildlife photography is the idea of low impact, do no harm or little harm, no harm really, no stress, but putting the welfare of the animal in front of the photo. So that's the basis of it. So it's kind of, it's easy to know that, to have that in mind, but what I think the most difficult part is kind of keeping your excitement in check.
Sure.
So you might have the value of, I do not want to cause any harm to the animal, I don't want to cause any stress. You're in the moment, and you can kind of lose your mind sometimes.
I bet.
So
right?
that's something that I struggle with. That's something that I make mistakes. Hopefully nothing too major, but that's when I find myself maybe I got a bit too close, or maybe I caused a bit more of a reaction than I meant to.
Yeah.
That's the cause. Excitement.
Unethical things are obviously like baiting, like putting food out so the animal comes closer, or taking pictures of animals that are like in a zoo enclosure, that type of thing, and kind of passing it off as the real thing.
Yeah.
But to stay ethical, it's interesting what you're saying, because you might not even know you're going over the line.
Definitely.
Because even just being in the area of an animal might cause them a bit of stress, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really, really can't even leave your house without causing stress to animals.
Sure.
The rabbits, the gophers. So yeah, we have to realize that we're going to be impacting the wildlife that we're going to be watching or observing, or even if we're going out hiking, not specifically looking for animals, we have to be aware. But I believe there can be a balance, and I believe that it requires just being really, really conscious of our actions at all times.
Okay.
Really conscious.
Carrie was kind enough to set up some images of animals that you've taken pictures of, and this first one here is a beautiful shot of an owl mid-flight. And you said, Ted, the key for you is that you want to learn from every interaction that you have with these creatures, right? What did you learn from this shot?
Well, patience.
Yeah.
You almost always learn patience, but this is a short-eared owl, and it's interesting because if I or other photographers were to see a photo of this like this, and it was a snowy owl flying right towards the photographer, you might question whether that owl was baited.
Yeah,
because
with food, right?
with throwing out a live mouse or something. But short-eared owls are actually pretty tolerant.
Okay.
Not saying you can't stress them out. Of course you can, but the key was kind of like just waiting and really, really hoping
that you get that shot, right?
You get the shot, and the owl will fly towards you.
Yeah.
It probably will eventually, because they're pretty, they're pretty busy, active fighting, but not fighting. Sorry, hunting. But
and they're
patience
curious too, right?
They might be curious.
The next one I wanted to show is a photo that you took of a weasel, and this is
yes.
a really interesting shot as well. Yes. A beautiful shot with the dew on the grass and that type of thing. And you must have waited for the weasel to jump, right?
Well, yes. Yeah. So weasels are jumping all the time.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't really waiting for the weasel to jump. It was actually just trying to capture the action.
I see.
And weasels, I have tried to find weasels by following tracks, but weasels will appear when you least expect it. So.
And speaking of appearing when you least expect it, we have a photograph that we're showing here of some bears.
Oh,
and,
yes.
and so, I mean, what did you learn from the shot of the bears that are swimming here?
Oh, so yeah, this was in Waterton.
Okay.
And this, there's so much to learn from bears, but this, again, I learned that it is possible, or confirmed it is possible to respectfully watch a bear, family of bears in a group.
Nice.
And in this case, it was in Waterton, and there was a really great ranger that was kind of keeping people in check. So keeping your distance, being quiet, being respectful, and you can get good photos.
You can get the good
Yeah.
shots. And Carrie's work is an attestament to that. Carrie Martin, if you want to look her up online, Carrie Martin Photography is a really cool website. You take
Thank
beautiful
you.
stuff. Thank you for coming in. And thank you for explaining ethical wildlife photography. Really, really interesting concept to keep in mind when we're heading into the mountains this summer. It's 7:59. We have a lot more to cover, of course, on Breakfast Television this morning. News, traffic, and Andy's going to let us know when instability may kind of pop up in the Calgary area today. That's next.